Hey guys, this is Buster from Impact Studios. Today I'm gonna show you how I make my bass tone using my Dingwall NKI. This is a programmable bass instrument that you can use for Contact 5, and it provides very real sounding bass tones. My tone sounds like this. It's mainly three parts, sub, grit and clean tone. The sub sounds like this. A grit sounds like this. A clean tone sounds like this. Alright. First is sub. First thing I do is apply compression to the DI before it hits the amp, so that the signal always is consistent. Next up is the amp I use. It's called SansAmp PSA1, and it's only for Pro Tools, unfortunately. But yeah, it sounds like this. This tone isn't really good, but for just the sub, it's great. Next thing I use is the Max Bass plugin from Waves. I normally don't use max bass and R bass, but in this case I did. Depending on the mix, I mix differently. In this mix it just sounded great, so I decided to use both. Next, I apply some EQ, just a low pass, 18 dB octave low pass from 150 Hz, and a boost at 90 Hz. Last thing is compression, just to make sure that the higher notes are the same volume as the lower notes. As you can see, the gain reduction differs depending on what notes the bass hits. So higher notes are around 2 to 3 dBs of gain reduction, and the lower notes are maybe like 5 to 7. Next is grit. I did some EQing before the DI hits the amp, to remove the really low stuff and some mids that were causing problems and making the distortion really ugly. Next is the compression, just this is the other one to keep the consistency before hitting the amp. Same amp, PSA1. Next we have the cab from TSE X50. And here we have the EQ. It's quite extreme, I guess, but we need to remove the low end because we have the low end already at the sub. We only need some low end information, but not as low as the sub. So there's a low cut to 123 Hz, and some harsh frequencies is removed. Next we have multiband compression. Removing some ugly mid frequencies, I guess. Last part of the tone is the clean tone. Compression again. I'm using Bias FX for the clean amp. I'm quite new at this, using a clean tone. So I haven't really tried a lot. I just haven't really perfected it yet. This is just bass 360, just 250 hertz cut here before hitting the amp, and these are the settings, and it sounds like this. Then we have the cab. I use the same cab as the grid track just to make sure that it glues together nicely. Next we have an EQ, removing the low end and then some harsh stuff. And some multiband compression. This just removes some peak attack because I really want that stuff to come from the grid track. This provides more like body to the tone. And lastly, a limiter. This tone was a bit too dynamic at first. I didn't want to boost any distortion to get sustain, so I used a limiter instead to get some more balls, I guess. And this all goes to the bass bus. And the bass bus has an EQ and a multiband. Just the EQ removing some 200 hertz and some harsh frequencies, and just multiband to smoothen out the range between, like, what is it, between 164 hertz and 361, just the mud zone, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Sounds like this again. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and if you like what you hear, make sure to check out this Dingwall NKI, available at the Impact Studios store, link in the description.